Hello again, everybody. This is Rocket Rick J18, and today I'm coming to you from the launching pad with some recent pickups courtesy of SammyThunder, for the most part. And Sammy had some duplicate uh, copies of some of the 1954 New York Journal American cards, mostly New York Giants. For those of you that are not familiar with that set, it consists entirely of Yankees, New York Giants, and Brooklyn Dodgers. And the New York Journal American was a William Randolph Hearst newspaper in New York City that enjoyed pretty widespread circulation back in the 50s. And So they ran this contest, and there were cash prizes, and it's kind of a bit of a lottery. Uh, and So anyway, we're going to take a look at those cards, and then we're also going to look at a couple of hockey cards that I acquired. So without more delay, let's turn the camera down and okay, so so the first card we have is Whitey Lockman, and Whitey Lockman was a longtime New York Giant. He played mostly in the outfield, along with Willie Mays and Don Mueller. He joined the Giants in 1946, and he ended his career in 1960 as a player, as an active player. But in 1962, when the Giants won the National League pennant, Whitey Lockman was the third base coach, and he's the guy that held up Matty Alou at third base when Willie Mays had doubled to bring Willie McCovey to bat with two out in the bottom of the ninth inning in Yankee Stadium. And of course, by not sending Matty Alou to try to score, um, they were stranded. Matty Alou and Mays were both stranded on second and third base. And When Willie McCovey lined out to Bobby Richardson to end the game and the World Series. Ralph Terry pitched a 1-0 shutout, thereby redeeming his failure to get Bill Mazeroski out in the 1960 World Series. So a lot of stuff going on there, and Whitey Lockman was right in the middle of it. So the next player we got is Dusty Rhodes, and of course, as anybody knows that's familiar with the Giants, 1954 was a big year for them. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out. Or did turn out well for the Giants, did not turn out well for the Cleveland Indians. Cleveland Indians won 111 games that year. I believe that's the number. And in a 154 game season, that means they only lost 43 games. Incredible record. Anyway, Dusty Rhodes in that World Series hit a home run to win a game in extra innings. They said it probably would have been an out in any other stadium besides the Polo Grounds. And the ball that Vic Wertz hit that Willie Mays caught in what is simply known as the catch would have been a home run in any other stadium besides the Polo Grounds. So that's the breaks of the game. Baseball isn't played on a uniform field. The bases are all 90 feet apart. The pitcher's mound 60 feet 6 inches from home plate, but there's no guideline that says you have to have any particular dimensions in the outfield, and the Polo Grounds had some of the more unique dimensions. So Dusty Rhodes was one of the heroes of the 1954 World Series for the Giants. The next guy up, Dusty Rhodes, by the way, only played 7 years, and one of those he didn't. One of those seasons, 1952 to 1959. I guess that's 8 years technically, but he only played in 7 of those years because he missed 1 year. Then I think it was 1958. He was an outfielder. When Don Muller, or when Whitey Lockman played first base, Dusty Rhodes was in the outfield along with Don Mueller and Willie Mays. So Al Dark was the shortstop on the team. He played from 1946 to 1960. And when he retired at the end of the 1960 season, he became manager of the San Francisco Giants, who had by this time moved to San Francisco, and managed the team to a National League pennant in 1962. They won a 3-game playoff against the Los Angeles Dodgers, not Brooklyn Dodgers, and they were down, I want to say, 4-2 late in the third game, and pulled it out. I think they scored 4 runs and won the game. Anyway, Al Dark was a part of that. Next guy up was a pitcher for the Giants, Al Worthington, and Al Worthington played from 1953 to 1969. He finished with a record of 75 and 82. So, certainly not. I guess you could say he was a serviceable pitcher. I think he probably pitched a fair amount in relief. So that's Al Worthington. The next guy up, interesting story that I'll tell on myself. I was very early in my collecting career. I didn't know much about Bowman cards at the time, and I saw this card, the number 1 card in the set was up for auction on eBay, and I bought it thinking that was a pretty reasonable price to pay for a Ted Williams card, but it turned out to be Davy Williams. And anyway, Alex at Bowman 53 knows all about Davy Williams being the number one card in the 53 Bowman color set. And now I know all about it too. But I learned the hard way. Davy Williams didn't have a long career. He played second base from 1949 to 1955. And, of course, was on the team in 1954, hence his participation in this card, in the 54 New York Journal American set. Next is Bobby Hoffman. And Bobby Hoffman was an infielder. He played first, second, and third base in a fairly brief career. He played slightly longer than Davy Williams from 1949 to 1957, but didn't amass a great record or statistical in presence on the team. Next up is Ruben Gomez, who was a pitcher for the Giants. He actually played a fairly long time, from 1953 to 1967, although his record was 76 and 86. But he was a serviceable pitcher for the Giants. The next guy up, I thought was a catcher, but it turns out he was actually a pitcher. And he had a record of 109 and 89. He's, of all the pitchers that I'm showing you today, he had the best record and the only winning record. No, that's not true. The next guy up had a winning record, but he was only 28 and 18, whereas Hearn was, as I say, 109 and 89. So he did a fairly good job for the Giants. The next guy up is Don Little, I'm guessing, Liddle. Had a brief career, 1953 to 1956. Had a winning record, but 10 games over 500 in 46 decisions. So not a very long record. I don't know whether he had arm trouble or exactly why he only lasted such a short time. He actually did win one World Series game, I believe, in 1954. And the last card is the only Brooklyn Dodgers in among the cards that I got from Sammy. Irv Palika was a pitcher for the Dodgers, and he pitched from 1947 to 1956 with an overall record of 41 and 55. So that's Irv Palika. I'm guessing it is the pronunciation of his name. So those are my New York Journal American editions. They join my only three other cards from that set, which are all New York Yankees, them being Hank Bauer, Mickey Mantle, and I'm trying to think of who the third guy is. Oh, Eddie Lopat, yeah. So that's it. I've got 14 of the cards, and maybe that's about I don't know, 13 out of 46, I think. So 11, 11 and 3, 14 cards out of 46, slightly less than 30%. So the next few cards are hockey cards, and one of them is Bill Durnan, who was a pretty good goalie for the Montreal Canadiens, and he is in the Hall of Fame. He joins Bill Quackenbush as one of the two NHL cards in the 1951 Berk Ross set, and so he was the sixth card in coming down to completing that set. So I've got 5 left, and so that's Bill Durnan. And the next card is a guy you'll recognize, Mario Lemieux. This is his 1985 Topps card, number 9, in a near mint 8. So I was fortunate enough to be able to pick up this pretty decent looking card. Got a little problem just very faintly along the borders, difficult to see. This corner down here has just a touch on it. The back looks pretty good, although part of it is obscured by the eBay authentication label. So that's Mario Lemieux. And finally, I got one more card, which Sammy included in the package of New York Journal American cards as an extra bonus. He knows that I like the Yankees, and so he sent along this card. It's the second card, second Yankees card that Sammy has sent to me. The other being Hector Lopez, a large format postcard, which I treasure. And I treasure this card too. Johnny Sain, as many of you know, went on to become a pitching coach for the Yankees, and he had a lot of success with, especially with Whitey Ford. He and Whitey really meshed and got along together, and saw kind of responsible, in part at least, for Whitey's record of 25-4, which was the best record in Yankee history until Louisiana Lightning, Ron Guidry, I think in 80, I want to say in 80, I want to say 87, that may not be right, but right along in there when he finished 25-3. But Whitey really gave a lot of credit to Johnny Sain, and I think that irritated Ralph Houck a little bit, because Johnny Sain was very protective of his pitchers. So he didn't last too long as a pitching coach for the Yankees, but he did go on to coach other teams too. So that's my what I have to show you today. Back up to the main screen. Hope you enjoyed these pickups, and my next video is going to be number 3, episode number 3 in my series on pre-war cards, and it's going to cover cards from 1921 to 1935. It's a pretty good stack, and that includes some strip cards, and just various and sundry other cards, including a fairly good size stack of 1935 Goudeys, which is the 4-in-1 set. And I'm sort of working on that set, although I haven't made much progress lately. So anyway, that's what's coming up uh, from the launching pad, and this is Rocket Rick J18 wishing that all your collecting dreams come true.